I could literally feel my bones screaming. Every step felt like glass grinding inside my leg. And when I begged my boss to let me take a break before it snapped in two, she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "We're all in pain. Team effort. No note, no break." What she didn't know, I had the doctor's note, and I was done being her punching bag. So that day, I decided to give her exactly what she deserved, a meltdown she'd never forget. If you've ever had a boss who treated you like you were disposable, hit that like button, because today's story is all about standing up, walking out, and watching karma do your job for you. Movie camera. The story begins. Main narrative expansion. Soft background music builds. A slow, emotional piano. Back in January, I got the kind of news that stops your world cold. Tumor. In my tibia, that's the bone running down your lower leg. At first, I thought it was a bad sprain or maybe just stress from work. But the pain grew sharper, deeper. Like someone had stuck a knife inside my bone and twisted it every time I took a step. The doctors said it was serious. I'd need surgery. And until then, I couldn't risk putting too much pressure on that leg, or I might actually snap the bone in half. I still remember sitting there in that sterile white room, hearing the surgeon say the words, "You're not cleared for work until after the operation." I nodded, but inside I felt something breaking. Work had always been my constant, my way to stay grounded, independent. But now I was benched. Fast forward a few months, April to June. Endless appointments, surgery prep, recovery, physical therapy. By the time I could finally walk again, it felt like I had lived 3 different lives. When I finally returned to work a few weeks ago, I was proud. Nervous but proud. The surgeon cleared me. No restrictions, but with a warning. Be careful. It's still healing. Push too hard, and you could undo everything. And for a while things seemed okay. My co-workers were glad to see me, and I tried my best to keep up. But there was one person who never seemed happy to see me. My shift leader. Let's call her Kelly. Kelly was the kind of person who wore stress like armor, and took it out on everyone beneath her. She wasn't technically my boss, but she sure acted like she owned the place. You know the type, the "I suffered so you should too" kind of manager. She always had that smug, tight smile. The kind that never reached her eyes. And she loved reminding people she was in charge. Before my surgery, she'd already made my life hard, nitpicking my hours, talking down to me, forgetting to relay schedule changes. But I tried to let it go. I told myself once I get through surgery, things will be better. Spoiler, they weren't. It was a Sunday, the busiest day of the week for curbside pickup. People ordering groceries non-stop. The carts piling up. The sun blazing through the store windows like an interrogation lamp. An hour and a half into my shift, the ache started. A dull pulse in my leg at first. I told myself to shake it off. You can do this. Just get through the shift. But then the pain sharpened, like fire ripping through my bone. My legs started to buckle. Could barely walk. I felt my throat tighten, my eyes burn. So I did what any sane person would do. I went to Kelly. I hobbled up to her, trying to hide the limp. "Hey, I'm really sorry, but can I take my break a little early? My leg's killing me. I just need to sit for a few minutes before I mess it up again." She didn't even look up from her clipboard. Just rolled her eyes and said, "I'm in pain too. This is a team effort. Unless you have a doctor's note, you can't leave early." For a second, I thought I'd misheard her. Did she just compare her stress to a tumor surgery? I just stared at her, mouth open. My leg was literally trembling under me. Then I said quietly, "I do have a doctor's note." She sighed, like I was inconveniencing her by existing, and snapped, "Fine. 5 more minutes, then you can go." I limped away, trying not to cry. 5 minutes later, she finally waved me off, like she was granting a royal favor. During that 15-minute break, I sat in the back room, staring at the floor tiles. My leg throbbed with every heartbeat. But what hurt worse was the humiliation. I'd spent months healing, pushing through fear and pain, and for what? To be treated like I was lazy. Like I was lying. That was the moment something clicked inside me. I wasn't going to let her, or anyone, treat me like I was disposable. So I stood up, limped to my locker, grabbed my bag and walked straight to the manager's office. He looked up, confused. "Everything okay?" And I said it calmly, almost smiling. "Yeah, I'm just done. I quit." He blinked. "Wait, what?" I just nodded, turned around and walked to the time clock. Beep. Clocked out. It was the single most satisfying sound I'd heard all year. About 5 minutes later, as I was pushing my cart of groceries toward checkout, I heard the PA system crackle. "Can my name please return to curbside?" I actually laughed out loud. "Oh Kelly, you wanted to ignore me when I needed help. Now you can deal with everything yourself." Kept walking. When I got to the registers, I saw my main boss, the store manager, walking in. He passed me in the aisle, and for a split second our eyes met. He looked furious. That kind of tight-jawed, red-faced fury that says, "Someone just dropped a bomb on my Sunday." He turned his head away like he couldn't even look at me, which was fine because I was done looking at them too. I paid for my groceries, loaded them in my car and drove off. As I looked in the rearview mirror, I could almost imagine what was happening back in that store. Kelly running around trying to cover curbside pickups, phones ringing off the hook, customers getting irritated, chaos everywhere. That was my petty revenge. Walking out, mid-shift, mid-chaos, and letting her feel the pain of losing the one person who'd been doing half her job for months. That night, my phone lit up with missed calls and texts. From co-workers, from the assistant manager, even one from Kelly herself. "Hey, can we talk about what happened today?" I didn't answer. The next morning, one of my friends from work texted me a photo of the schedule board. Kelly's name was crossed out. Apparently, she'd been temporarily reassigned. Turns out, the chaos I'd left behind wasn't just embarrassing. It was a full-blown management disaster. Orders went missing, customers complained, and corporate had to get involved. All because one power-tripping shift leader decided her ego mattered more than human decency. And you know what? I didn't feel guilty. Not for 1 second. Because when you spend months fighting to walk again, to feel normal again, and someone tries to strip that dignity away, they don't deserve your loyalty. Sometimes revenge doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is silence. Just walking away and letting their own arrogance do the damage for you. If this story made you clench your fists or smile just a little, hit that like button. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever had a boss who deserved a taste of karma like this? And of course, subscribe for more stories where justice comes served. Cold, clever, and oh so satisfying.